important thing to just say now is one thing we have slightly changed is previously, before you wanted to register an event, you would have had to wait for kind of your application to go through and to get approved, because we have to just check that each CPD event organizer is legit and is going to represent their organization. It's not been automatically generated or anything like that. So you did have to wait a few days. And if you wanted to get an event registered in a very short time period, then that was a bit frustrating. So what we've done now is when you get that automatically generated email, there'll be a little application form on there as a Word document for your events, and so you can get one recognised in really short time by just emailing that application form to the Sheep Advisor's email. So we have made that a bit of a simpler process, so you don't actually have to wait for your application to go through. But for the majority of the time, then you'll be able to register your events through the login area that we just looked at. So if we just go onto here, we can see that we're going to log in using exactly the same process as we did previously. So we've gone onto the Rosa website and we're going to log in to the CPD event organisers page. And now I'm going to show you how you get your event or activity registered for CPD points. And it's all done completely through this Rosa web page. So if you click onto your register event, here you've got an option to actually copy a previous event. So every time you register an event, it's saved and it saves all the information. And so say you're doing the same webinar 5 times, you can register it 5 separate times for 5 points and not have to do the same information. You've put in your main contact. And another important thing is that each time you create an event, it's got to have a unique name. And that allows us to differentiate it. If you put Grassland Establishment webinar and ran it as 10 things and sent 10 attendance registers, then we wouldn't know where to kind of allocate the points. So, but it tells you if it's a unique title anyway. Another option you've got here is whether you'd like to publish it on the website. So our database talks to the Rosa website, and on the Rosa homepage, there's an events option, an events page, which details all the Rosa events coming up. So if you click that publish, I'll just pause it a sec. If you click that publish on the website button, then your event will be able to be openly seen by all our Rosa members so they can see what CPD events they'd like to attend. Obviously, that works fantastically for openly available events, but it's not so good if it's an internal event that not everyone can attend. So you can choose whether you'd like to publicise your event on the website or not. Now, the other thing you had to do on the previous page was just put in a venue. So for this example, this webinar, that was kind of Zoom online. So now we're going to provide a bit more on the details on what's involved in the CPD event. And as you can see here, you can choose what type of event it is. In this example, the webinar. You put in how long the webinar is going to be. And then you'd also put in how many people you're expected to attend it. And now the box here, like Jade says, we're not expecting tons and tons of detail on this, but all we need to know is approximately what kind of topics are going to be covered. And that allows us to allocate the CPD points to different categories. You'll be able to see this on the last page when I show you what the event registration form looks like. So you can see I've put in some details here. This is the kind of example that we'd like is these are the people who are going to be presenting and what they're going to be covering approximately. And you've also got the opportunity here, you can just attach an agenda if you've got an agenda you've already created for your event. Now, the other thing we ask is a couple more things is some CPD we have is assessed. It might have a bit of a quiz at the end or a discussion group or breakout rooms or something like that. Or it might have no evaluation. And if it's got more participative, interactive evaluation, then we might allocate it more points. So that's why we asked that question. And then the other important thing is to put your start date and start time in. It's important to remember to put it in this exact format here. We have had a few people who have had issues with this where it's got a bit confused if it's gone in a slightly wrong format. And then the final thing to put in here is the name of any trainers or speakers who are doing that. So that's just the name, where they're based, so the postcode, and then if they're a Rosa member, you can put their Rosa membership number in there as well. So we just know who is that's going to be talking. So the membership number is always a 200 number. And then the final page is just an option to give any additional information. So you might have, for example, put that the event was going to run from 9 o'clock till 5 o'clock, so it's a full day event. But you might put a note in here that says we're breaking for an hour for lunch, so that we know that there's only going to be kind of however many 8 hours of training rather than 9 hours, because of the break for lunch or something like that. Now, as you can see, you then get a little thing pop up that says thank you for your application, and then you'll also get a confirmation email. Now, this email, obviously each event is kind of assessed individually to make sure that it has got sufficient technical knowledge and technical information provided, and it is applicable for ROSA points. So following this submission, there's a bit of a time period where our team have to assess that. And then once it's been assessed, you'll be provided with this email that says, oh, thanks for registering your event. It has been approved for ROSA CPD points. And it provides you some details on how to register people for that event. So this is one way to register for it, and that is by completing the registration form that is provided. Now, this is an Excel spreadsheet, and that's the best way for you to provide it back to us. But you can also print them off and fill them in if it's a face-to-face event. But providing it as an Excel spreadsheet is easiest, because we can obviously then read everyone's 200 number and name and things like that. So it's a bit easier than sometimes where it's a bit more difficult if it's handwritten. The other thing you'll see here is that each one has got a unique reference number. So that's how we know it's that specific event. It also shows the CPD points that have been allocated to it. So the longer your event is and the more participative the training is, if this is told as an event, then the more CPD points that will be awarded. And the CPD points are awarded across a range of categories. So these are animal genetics, health and welfare, fruit, diversified income, sustainable agriculture, grass management, so a range of things. And that's because ROSA members have got to get a broad range of CPD to maintain their membership. So we know they've got that broad knowledge of sheep production that we spoke about earlier. And so you'll be able to see what points have been allocated to your event.